I'm joined now by Dr. Alice Lilly. Now, she is from the Institute for Government, who can hopefully explain a little bit more about what happens next. So, Dr. Lilly, this does not happen very often. Let's just break this down. First of all, what exactly is this investigation into the Prime Minister?
So this is an investigation into whether the Prime Minister has misled the Houses of Parliament in some of the previous statements that he's made to MPs about parties and the whole issue of Partygate. And this inquiry will be run by something called the Privileges Committee. That is a cross-party group of MPs. It has a Conservative majority, although it's chaired by a Labour MP. They'll be able to investigate what the Prime Minister has said. They might be able to call for some evidence. And then ultimately, they will make their findings known to the whole House of Commons, and they will ask MPs to vote on their findings and on what happens next. The key thing here, of course, is that we don't know what the precise timetable for any of this is. This committee will not begin its inquiry until after the Metropolitan Police have finished their inquiry, and we don't know how long that will take. So this could rumble on for weeks or even months.
Our political editor touched on it a moment ago. Labour, of course, are bringing forward this vote into whether we should have this investigation. The government tried to stop that, but didn't. Why is that? What does it tell us about what's going on within the government itself?
Yeah, I think that's really significant. It's a huge turnaround. At the beginning of this week, the government was going to try and simply prevent this inquiry from happening and use its very large majority in the Commons to do that. Then last night, they tried to table an amendment to this motion. That would have meant that this inquiry was delayed. And then this morning, what the government decided to do is actually let their MPs vote how they want. And this inquiry has gone through in the end without actually a formal vote in the House of Commons. So this really suggests that what the government whips were hearing from their own backbenchers was not good. And actually, they couldn't be sure of having numbers to prevent this inquiry from happening. And also perhaps that a lot of those Conservative MPs didn't want to have to try and block this inquiry, knowing, of course, that there are those local elections coming up on the 5th of May. So really, it tells us something very interesting, which is that the relationship between the government and its own MPs is clearly not in a great place right now.
So, Dr. Lilly, I know you said there are many variables due to the different potential timelines in all of this. However, if it is found that Boris Johnson misled the Commons, what could this mean for him as Prime Minister?
Well, the Ministerial Code, which is something that covers all ministers, makes very clear that if a minister inadvertently misleads the House of Commons, they're expected to apologise and then to set the record straight. But if a minister knowingly misleads the House, that is something that is considered a resignation matter. It is an incredibly serious thing. We don't know what the Privileges Committee will find. We don't know what they will recommend to MPs. And whatever they do recommend to MPs, of course, the whole House of Commons will have to vote on it. The government still does have a big majority. You would expect the Prime Minister to survive, but we just really don't know. And politically, it will be incredibly tricky for him.
Politically very, very tricky, but my goodness, everybody's sitting, watching, waiting to find out how this could all end up. But Dr. Alice Lilly, thank you so much for breaking this all down for us.